Obviously, AI has been a game changer within the technology industry, particularly over the last number of years. And Verkada has certainly taken advantage of that. We're coming out with great new features that we're excited really to show you today what you can do on the Verkada platform. In addition to that, we're also going to be going over how Verkada has been able to deliver their analytics now using non-Verkada cameras. So if you have some non-Verkada cameras that don't have any analytics at all, Verkada is now going to be able to give you some of those analytics that you can actually use as you're transitioning maybe to a new Verkada camera system. So that should take us to about 30 minutes past the hour. We're going to have a lot of information, try to fit it in the next 24, 25 minutes. And then at that point, we'll take a live Q&A. So again, my name is Paul Jenne. I'm the VP of Sales and Business Development with Eastern DataComm, and I'll let Adam and Sergio actually introduce themselves. Adam, let's start with you.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. First off, thanks everyone for being here today. Sergio and I are both really excited to share all sorts of analytics that we've come out with at Verkada, and then importantly, how we're able to deliver those analytics not just to our own cameras, but to non-Verkada cameras as well with Command Connector. So just quick introduction for myself. My name's Adam Rabin. I'm based out of Verkada's headquarters in San Mateo, California. And my focus is on video security, artificial intelligence, and computer vision. And Sergio?
Thanks, Adam and Paul. And also thanks to everyone for joining. I'm very excited today to talk about the Command Connector. So a bit of context, my name is Sergio Mercado. I'm a senior product specialist at Verkada. I also work at our San Mateo HQ. And this year, I've been focused on building the Command Connector. So I'm part of the team that built this product. So I'm very thrilled to share with everyone how it works, how those analytics look like. And for a bit more context, before working on the Command Connector, I used to work on our cameras product line. So yeah, thrilled to get into the session.
All right. Well, thank you guys. And just to give you a little bit of background on who Eastern DataComm is, before we do get started with the presentation, we are a safety and communications company focusing on serving schools, businesses, and municipalities. We've been in business for the last 36 years. So when I say safety and communications, I'll say communications as it relates to things like voice over IP phone systems, paging and intercom systems, bell controllers and clocks, data networking and structured cabling and wiring, as well as safety, particularly physical security as it relates to video surveillance, access control, environmental sensors, as well as emergency notification. And one of the big things that we try to do for our clients is how we can tie a lot of these technologies to work together and integrate together to work as one overall solution. We've also tried to team up with manufacturers and products out there that we really think that are going to provide the most value to our clients. And that's one of the reasons why we teamed up with Verkada. Verkada, as I mentioned before, is just a terrific company, very, very innovative. The things that they've come out with over the last 4 years, I would actually say they're an industry disruptor. But we've actually been partnered with them for the last 4 years. We're actually a diamond partner with Verkada, which means we're one of only 16 or 17 partners nationwide that actually is one of those, has one of those designations. And we really love the product, and we have lots and lots of customers that we provided Verkada to for anywhere from video surveillance, access control, visitor management. They have a really great platform that integrates a lot of these technologies together as well, which is kind of fits in perfectly in line with Eastern DataComm. So we're really excited and honored to be able to partner with them on this webinar and to be able to deliver you this great information of their platform and what they're actually able to do there for our clients. So without further ado, let's get into it. So I'll pass it back to Adam, and we'll go into the meat of the webinar.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. And that's a really nice introduction and a good segue into what Verkada is. So I know that folks on the call might have various levels of familiarity with Verkada and our various products and features. So I'll just take a step back before we really dive in and level set with, what Verkada is, and highlight for everyone the extent and breadth of our cloud-based product portfolio. So back in 2016, we began with cameras, and we quickly expanded to all sorts of other product lines, all designed to secure people and places and deliver all sorts of operational insights into how folks use their spaces. And this ranges from, access control, just monitoring means of ingress and egress, a whole suite of alarms products, guest check-in and workplace management, intercom systems, and environmental sensors. All of these, they don't work discreetly. They work in an integrated fashion with each other. And so you can certainly operate them discreetly, but they're all better together to secure people and places in a really effective manner. So this has led to, as I mentioned, 2016 was when we started out with cameras, and this has led to a really growing and global customer base, with today over 28,000 customers using all sorts of Verkada products. As Paul mentioned, we do have quite a few global partners, and Eastern DataComm is one of those very special of the 8,000 global partners. And obviously, to support all of our customers and partners, we have a rapidly growing team that's based all around the world to deliver these products and features for all sorts of use cases. And this has really cemented us as the leader in cloud video security. And this is something that we really don't take for granted. And it's an area that we can want to continue to grow in and continue to offer really advanced video analytics, all sorts of hardware products to support our customers in a variety of ways. And I showed that list of hardware products that we offer, and this is all grounded in and supported in our cloud-based management platform called Command. And what Command does is it centralizes all of the products and features in one single pane of glass so that our customers and organizations broadly can leverage all sorts of advanced features that help them investigate incidents in seconds and generate new operational insights into how their spaces are being used. And so why do we see our customers really appreciating the value of Verkada Command? One, and this is what we'll get into momentarily, are the AI-powered analytics. We have a really robust team of AI and computer vision engineers at Verkada who are doing just excellent work in this field. They have been working in AI and machine learning for quite literally a decade. And it's exciting for them and for us that it's gained such global traction. And we are incorporating the latest and greatest into our platform. And I'll jump into that in a demo soon to show you all what I mean by that. Obviously, these powerful features all need to be managed and delivered in a really intuitive way, right? These are really powerful analytics, and it's important that our customers are able to use them without much friction. So we have a really intuitive management platform in Command that allows our customers to leverage all of these analytics in a really straightforward way without any sort of headaches and the need to contact IT, for instance, to say, hey, I don't know how to do this. All of our analytics are really straightforward. And again, I'll show you that momentarily. It's important that our platform is not closed off. We understand that while Verkada is somewhat of a young company relative to the industry, we were founded in 2016, as I mentioned, with our camera offering. We know that a lot of our customers are using systems that they've relied on for years, and it's important that we have integrations, out-of-the-box integrations, as well as a whole library of public APIs that allow our customers to leverage our various features, our analytics, and bring it into their systems that they've been using for quite some time. And that's, related to that. That's what Sergio will be talking about in a little bit with Command Connector, just another way of bringing our analytics to other systems that our customers have been using for some time. Always improving software. That is a really big one. And as Sergio and I could both attest to, working on product, we are constantly improving our offerings. So, what you see today, for instance, with our AI-powered analytics is actually, this, I can guarantee folks on this call that there will be improvements to this in just a couple months, and then a few more months after that. And this is something that we're constantly looking to roll out and deliver in a variety of ways, whether it's software enhancements, firmware enhancements. These are all coming out constantly. When they're available, they're pushed to our customers' devices, and importantly, free of charge, right? It's all included in one license. One license gives all our customers access to whatever sort of software improvements we come out with. And then finally, and this is something that's becoming even more important these days, is to ensure that data that is captured on a camera, for instance, is stored and then transferred to the cloud and then distributed to user devices from the cloud, because as folks here know, Verkada is grounded in a hybrid cloud architecture, and it's important that as all this data moves from device to cloud to user device, whether that's a laptop using Command or a mobile phone doing the same, it's important that this data is well protected. So we have various levels of data encryption to ensure that. So, without further ado, I know that folks here are here to see sort of these AI powered analytics in action. So what I'm going to do is jump into a demo where I'll show kind of the progression of our analytics. As I've mentioned, that 2016 was really the beginning of things, and I think it's important for folks on the call because we all have various levels of familiarity with Verkada. It's important that we see the progression of these analytics since 2016, because while AI is all over the place today, right? You can't avoid it. It's quite literally everywhere in almost any company's product offering. We've been doing different forms of AI for some time now, and I'll point that out. And then I'll end the demo with where we are today with it, just to also highlight that we remain lockstep and so focused on how are we going to incorporate the latest in AI into our platform to help our customers in really precise and efficient ways. So with that said, I'm gonna stop sharing my screen for a moment. I'm gonna jump over to Verkada Command, which is our, as I had mentioned, this is our cloud-based management platform. If you bear with me just for one moment.
And I'll just point out while Adam is doing that, I forgot to mention at the beginning, if you do have any questions, if you could put them in the Q&A. I see Jose has already put one question in, but we're going to jump in. We'll get to those questions after the presentation, but as things pop in your head, please put them into the Q&A and we'll take them as soon as we're done. Yeah,
thanks, Paul. That's a good call out, and as you said, we do have time allocated for Q&A at the end. So great. Folks can see my screen, I assume. I am now in Verkada Command, which is, as I mentioned, this is our cloud-based management platform, single pane of glass, which integrates all of our products in one screen here. So for those that don't really know Command or aren't super familiar with Command, as I said, right, this is your one-stop shop for all of our products. And today I want to focus on cameras. That's really been our bread and butter for some time, and specifically the analytics associated with cameras. So jumping to our cameras page, you'll see that we have a bunch of thumbnails here, which show all of the cameras, and this being our headquarters in San Mateo. And it's important before jumping into the analytics that we get a little bit of context here. So, we see a variety of cameras. This is all surrounding our headquarters, but these cameras are organized into different what we call sites. So here we see a bunch of cameras labeled exterior. This is our exterior site. But scrolling down, we've organized them. This is the garage at our headquarters. These are mobile deployment cameras, intercoms, interior cameras. So it's very easy to organize your cameras by site. Just for a little bit of context and to help guide you so that okay, I'm looking at a series of exterior cameras. I'm looking at some interior cameras. So that's just to give everyone a little bit of context here as to what we're looking at. But I want to conduct an investigation using a variety of analytics and show you the progression of these analytics over time. So let me jump into one of these cameras here. This camera is from our, it's right in front of the entrance to our headquarters. And you can see I'm getting a live feed here in nice quality. And typically when folks begin investigations, and one of the features that they've been using for some time is our motion grid search. So what I can do actually is divide the camera into a 10 by 10 grid. And let's say that I heard someone was trying to steal a bike off the bike rack here the other day. What I can simply do is click, drag, and hover over this area, and I'll see any people or vehicles that were in that area. And this is important just to kind of begin an investigation and say, okay, someone was in this area. Let me home in to who could possibly have been in that area. And as you just saw right here, this refreshes constantly based on the motion captured in that area. But okay. Let's say that I heard, someone was fiddling with the bike rack in there. What I can do is jump to the people tab here, and it will show me all the people captured on this camera. But using one of our AI features that we have had for some time, this is called attribute search. What I can do is say, okay, someone told me that the individual who was fiddling with that bike rack was wearing a red shirt. So all I need to do rather, is go into this upper body selector and click red. And this gives me a predefined color palette here. I could just filter by red shirt, and sure enough, I have all the instances of folks who are wearing red. Let's say, let's take this one step further. And let's say that, okay, I heard from someone that this happened roughly at 5:30 p.m. on Thursday, December 5th. This individual could be my likely suspect. What I can then do is take this one step further and search by face. This is again using a different form of artificial intelligence to match the individual's face across my camera fleet. And so I'm going to search by face, and sure enough, it's going to bring me all the instances of when this person's face appeared on my cameras. And this allows me then to give just a little bit more context to understand, okay, this individual, was spotted about 4 different times across my camera fleet. And then what I can do from there is make this actionable and add them as a person of interest, so that anytime this individual appears on any of my camera footage, I can then be alerted to their presence. So while we have a variety of tools and our customers have been using these tools that I just showed you for some time, we also want to make it actionable, and we want to deliver an investigation in a proactive way with the person of interest search there. So as I said, our customers have been using these tools for some time now. And back in May, we really built on this in an important way. And that was with our AI-powered search. So you see the search bar right at the top here. this is a free form search bar that's capable of accepting almost any text, because the fact is that when I search for footage, this allows me to search for footage on a almost unlimited set of attributes of people and vehicles that appear across my camera fleet. You know, there are ways of describing investigations, or people that are party to investigations rather, in ways that extend just beyond shirt color, right? So if I, caught a glimpse of a suspect that was, let's say, it was a person with tattoos, that's, generally an identifying attribute of someone, person with tattoos and sunglasses, I can get really specific with a whole slew of attributes to describe a person or vehicle. In this case, I'm using a person, but this applies to vehicles as well. And sure enough, I have some results here. So, this will show me all the times where someone with tattoos and sunglasses appeared on my footage. So what's important, and this goes back to just making these investigations actionable, is with a click of a button, I can actually go and create an alert right from this search query, what we call the search process with AI search. So I can select which cameras I want this to apply to. I can modify the query if I want. So I can, jump in and change the query if relevant. I can also modify the accuracy of it if I want to be alerted fewer times, or I can broaden it if I want potentially more results. And then I can customize the recipients of this query. So, it might just be me, or I can add a user or a user group and have this the results of the query sent not just to me but to other folks as well. And then, I can customize the notification schedule. So, perhaps I don't want to be notified on the weekends. Maybe that's not relevant to me. Maybe I just want to be alerted between a certain time during the week. So anyway, that was kind of a quick overview of the various types of analytics that use all sorts of AI. And this is, as I said, this is a constantly improving process. And this is something that we continue to invest a lot of time in going forward. So with that said, I'm going to turn it over to Sergio, because a problem that we've encountered, or a problem rather that organizations out there encounter, is that not all organizations can access command right away. So I want to turn it over to Sergio now to talk about this issue with a lot of folks, which is that, hey, like, I want to take advantage of these analytics, but I don't have command. I have other cameras. So Sergio, if you want to, jump in and share your screen and talk about this process and what led to building Command Connector to help deliver these analytics to non-Verkada cameras.
Absolutely. Thank you, Adam, and thanks for that great demo. So, just as Adam mentioned, we know that not all organizations can access command right away, or they just can't transition to command right away. So, and these are the main reasons we have identified for this. So first up, there's orgs that are very large and they need a transition plan. So think of folks that have thousands of cameras, and these are all geographically distributed. You cannot realistically rip and replace all of these cameras overnight and bring them all into the Verkada ecosystem by installing Verkada cameras. Or you have made a recent investment on security and you just purchased this year or last year a lot of security equipment, cameras included. So there isn't an easy way to justify replacing those cameras that are already modern with a Verkada camera. Or there's also form factors that we haven't built just yet. So one example is thermal cameras. We don't currently have an offering for this. So for all of these reasons, the team put together efforts and we built the command connector. So essentially, the command connector is this cloud-enabled appliance. It's a server that can connect these non-Verkada channels and allows you to stream all of this into command. It's essentially a frictionless path to command, and it gets you that access to the cutting edge AI analytics that Adam just showcased. So essentially, the command connector helps you bring this legacy on-prem cameras into the cloud. And this is done in just a matter of minutes. It's very easy to add cameras. You will only need to know their IP, their username and password, and then the command connector takes care of the rest using onramp. So essentially, with a command connector, we help enterprises plan for their future. Since the command connector is this path to the cloud, and it allows you access to all of our analytics suite. This essentially turns these legacy cameras into powerful tools, and this streamlines investigations. So with the command connector, now we empower customers to execute a successful cloud migration in just minutes without the need for that rip and replace and preserving that single pane of glass feeling. Now you can simplify the management of multiple systems. So in case you have various different vendors on one site or on multiple sites, and you also have Verkada cameras on different sites, you can unify all of those under the same roof, and they will be within Verkada command. And you can also realize that return of investment on security by turning all of these legacy cameras smart and making your operations more efficient. So now I'm going to jump into a demo, and this is going to be a demo of specifically the non-Verkada cameras and how analytics work on these cameras. So let's jump into it. So on this tab, as I mentioned, I have Verkada command. This is our single pane of glass. And here you will see cameras are getting grouped by sites. These are essentially logical associations that we create just to make it easier to organize your cameras. If I scroll down at the very bottom, you'll notice that we have a site entirely made up of non-Verkada channels. Another great addition of the Verkada command connector is that, for example, you'll see that we have 4 cameras currently offline. This is expected. This is a routine maintenance they're making in one of our satellite offices. And with a command connector, I get notified whenever these cameras go down and they're offline. That way, if I know it's unexpected maintenance, I can disregard that notification. But in case it's unexpected, I can always have my IT team subscribe to this alert, and they can take quick actions in case any other cameras go offline, whether it's a Verkada camera or a non-Verkada channel. Now, as you can see, we have a grouping of various different vendors. So we have some Ava cameras, the Vigilant cameras, Axis, even the thermal cameras we were discussing from FLIR. Now, let's take a look at analytics. So first up, here are what we call our global tabs, and we can go into the people tab. Here we're gonna get hyperzooms. This is essentially what we call this high definition crop ups of people or vehicles that show in command. Now, I can search for this just within the non-Verkada channels or across all of the cameras in my organization, including Verkada and non-Verkada cameras. If, for example, I get a report from a person that was wearing a blue sweater, we can search for within the command connector site. These are going to be just the non-Verkada cameras. Oh, let me move the zoom bar out of the way. All right. And then we mentioned we're looking for someone that was wearing probably a blue sweater. So we have this palette of predefined colors, and we can select the blue one. Now, command is going to search through all of the hyperzooms within those cameras and try to find the best match of any person that is wearing the clothing we're looking for. And here are the results. So as you can see, we have various different folks with sweaters or shirts that are blue. Then from here, we can see that these are from various different cameras. If we hover over the first one, we can see it's a Hanwha camera, for example. Or this one is one of the Ava bullets. And here we have an Axis camera. And they all look virtually the same within that pane of glass that is command. Here we can always create a person of interest in case we want to get notified if this person is cited again. Or we can also do a search by this face, and it will be performed in the site that we specify or within the whole organization. This really streamlines investigations. Now, let's take a look at the vehicle tag. So this is going to be very similar. We have all of this hyperzooms, this high definition crop ups of vehicles, and we can also specify just the Verkada command connector site. So we look within non-Verkada channels. Now, if we're looking for a car, let's say that we get a report of a vehicle that is a car, let's select that, and that it was of color green. Now you can see that we're also pulling footage from all of those different cameras. We have even the FLIR, that is the thermal camera, showing some of the footage. And we can also see cameras from our satellite office, like this AVA. We can always download this high definition hyperzooms and add them to incidents if needed. Now, let's take a look at how AI search works for non-Verkada channels. So if we go back to our camera homepage, at the top, we'll have the search bar. Here, we can do the same. We can select the site and then look for a Verkada command connector site. Perfect. And here, what's great about AI search, just as Adam showcased, is that we can use everyday words to look for a subject, whether it's a person or a vehicle. And most of the times when we get a report and we're trying to investigate a subject, we're going to get a vague or rough description of this subject. So this is a great way for us to literally use the information we just got and using everyday words, search for what we're looking for. So let's say we got a report of a white GMC pickup truck with tinted windows. Now I hit enter, and Command is going to go through all the hyperzooms of these non-Verkada channels and try to find the best match. Now, as you can see, we have multiple different instances of a white van with seemingly tinted windows. And this is great for carrying out investigations in case something already happened in the past and we're trying to identify when and how this happened. But in case we want to be proactive, we can always create that alert. So here, if I click on create alert, we're going to create one of these AI-powered alerts. It has already the command connector site selected. Let's take a look. All right, here we can see our site. All of the cameras are selected. It will use the same query, and we can see a preview of the results that it will yield, and we can always make it more broad or more precise. And we'll also get a daily estimated number of alerts that we'll be firing off. And it's the exact same as a Verkada camera. So you still get access to any number of recipients that you'd like, and you can choose whether these are notified via email, text, or push notifications via the mobile app. Same, you can also do a notification schedule or associate device actions for this type of alerts. All right, so this is all I have today for the demo. Now I'm going to hand it back to Adam and Paul for some closing comments.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Sergio. I mean, and Adam, I mean, this is a great platform. And this is obviously why we partnered with Verkada. I was just very impressed with it. I think what's really impressive is video surveillance systems have always been traditionally looked at as reactive, right? Something happened and now we got to go to the camera system to see what happened. Now with these alerts, the system is actually working for you 24/7, right? It's paying attention to what's happening. You don't have to have somebody sitting there looking at a monitor. The system is doing it for you, and it's going to alert you when these things are happening, these incidents that you might be looking for. And just the AI-powered search has really just ramped that up to another level. So thank you guys for that great demo and presentation. At this point, I know we're a little bit past the half-hour mark that I promised, but it was really good stuff. So we'll just jump into some of the questions here. So maybe Adam and Sergio, well, I'll lay up the questions and then you guys can answer it. Whoever has the best answer here. So the first one is from Jose. I have a Vigilon cameras. Can you integrate with them?
Oh, great question. Yes, we do integrate with the Vigilon cameras. We have tested Around 1,000 cameras by now. The main requirement is that cameras have to be on-BIF profile as conformant. And the best part is that you can even look up compatible cameras. If you Google Verkada hardware compatibility list, the first thing that will come up is our HCL. This is within the Verkada.com website, and you can see which cameras we have already tested and the firmware we have tested these cameras with.
Great. David asks, is video stored in the cloud or on a local server?
Also, a very good question. It can be both. So by default, it's going to be on the local server, which is the command connector. It has hard drives with RAID redundancy so that each hard drive has a backup. But you can always enable cloud backup or purchase extended cloud backup if you have compliance requirements. So both. It depends on the org.
I'll add there that outside of command connector, just generally speaking, with Verkada cameras, storage is on the device itself, and to Sergio's point as well, you can back up as much footage. You can archive as much footage as you want to the cloud. So there are two methods of storing footage.
Perfect. All right, Dennis asks, are you able to upload an image of someone you want to look for as a person of interest?
Yes. Yeah. It's pretty easy to do that right from the People's tab. And then you click in person of interest and you simply upload. If you have a headshot of someone or whatnot, it's very easy to do that.
Right. And then the last question from Lenny is, can you search in the analytics by specific make and model?
Yes, and this applies to both command connector as well as command connector powered cameras as well as just regular Verkada cameras. As Sergio was showing before, right, when he was filtering by site, you can also filter by the model of the camera as well. So there's multiple ways of isolating and segmenting the cameras that you want to search on.
And I don't know if that's a question about make and model of the cameras or vehicle. In either case, I think that the answer is
Mm.
so. On the demo, for example, it was a
Okay.
GMC
Mhm.
branded pickup truck.
Yeah, good call, Sergio. And Lenny, I don't know if you want to clarify that, but yes, if you're talking about cars, make and model, certainly. So the AI powered search, you can get really specific. Okay, yeah, thanks for the clarification, Lenny. Yes, you can get really specific in terms of make, model. Yeah, I was running an investigation the other day for 1970s muscle car, and you get a list of very accurate results.
Cool. All right, Bob asks, what is the camera per server ratio?
All right, so we have 3 different SKUs. And this are spec'd out on a number of channels, is what we call them. Each channel represents a camera, but not always. So for example, multi-sensors, these are going to be 4 channels. For example, if it's a 4-head multi-sensors, or maybe even 5, because some do a stitched view that combines all of the 4 heads into one. But essentially three different SKUs. One is going to be for 10 5-megapixel channels. Next one is for 25 5-megapixel channels. And the biggest SKU is for 50 5-megapixel channels. And then for 4K, it's going to be essentially half of those channels. So it's like 5 channels for the base SKU up to 25.
Good. David asked, privacy concerns surrounding machine learning in regards to identification of people.
Yeah, David, this is an excellent question, and this is something that as we're building our AI features, something we really keep top of mind. In terms of identification of people, I'll start by saying that the face search that you saw, the way that model works is that it doesn't it it doesn't use anything that can be sort of interpreted as, oh, I have an image of a person, and I'm going to use this person's face and their likeness to search for whenever they appeared. In fact, what it does is it takes measurements of spatial features, the distances between someone's eyes, or the distance between someone's eyes and their hairline, or how the distance between nose and mouth. So it accrues a series of measurements, and in that way, it's not like we have a whole database of people's faces with personally identifying information. The facial recognition model just relies on a series of facial measurements, and so this is important in obviously protecting privacy, but also it allows us to have a pretty accurate set of results, as you saw, because while a suspect might be able to shave their head or their facial hair, or put on a different pair of different clothing, they can't rearrange their facial features. And so it relies in a pretty anonymized way just on measurements of how facial features are relative to other facial features. So I hope that answered the question regarding facial recognition. When it comes to the AI-powered search, we have a handful of protections in place called moderation. This is something that we worked on in-house for some time. We also have a list of public best practices that we pull from. Moderation essentially prohibits certain searches from taking place, those that are based on race, nationality, ethnicity, things like that. We really want the searches to be geared towards attributes. So things essentially that people are wearing, or things that are particularly identifying, that don't touch on any sort of race-based searches, any inappropriate or lewd searches. So we spent a lot of time to ensure that our customers can use our AI search in a responsible way, and the facial recognition technology in a way that purely relies on numerical measurements of facial features. So I hope that answered your question. And David, it's a really hot topic, and there's actually, if you go on our website, go to verkada.com/docs, you'll see that we have quite a few documents on this topic, because this is something that we and our privacy team and our legal team, these are things that we keep top of mind. But that's sort of the 40,000-foot answer.
Good. Thank you, Adam. Meredith asked, do you know of any schools that have used this tech? And number two, what cyber protections are there? How is this tech protected?
Very good question.
Yes. Yeah.
Oh, if you want to go,
yeah.
Adam.
Yeah, I was when I guess the question, Meredith, is this more pertinent to Command Connector or the analytics, or both? The answer to the first question for the analytics is absolutely yes. And for cyber protections, like the tech protected, if by that you mean sort of the data protections and data security that's in place, as I had mentioned, there's multiple levels of encryption that are used to protect data storage and transfer, including a new feature that we released called enterprise controlled encryption, which allows for decryption key splitting. So if there were hypothetically a bad actor operating on the server side, they actually wouldn't be able to access any customer video data without the customer's explicit permission. So we have a handful of tools in place to protect data, but I'll turn it back to Sergio if this question is actually relating to Command Connector, and maybe Sergio, you could speak to that.
Absolutely. Yeah, in case the question is about the command connector, the answer would also be yes. So command connectors have been successfully deployed on schools. And for the cyber protections, so the considerations that the schools take is mostly around firewall policies. So since the command connector relies on technologies like ONBIF and RTSP to talk with these non-Verkada cameras, it's very important that you have this network fenced off, that you have some sort of device at the perimeter, for example, a firewall, that then segments traffic and doesn't allow anything into that network that is not explicitly permitted. So most of the things are going to be outbound. That way the command connector can talk to the cloud, can upload that footage, or let you stream, but you won't have any incoming traffic. So those are part of the best practices that we share with customers, and some of the things I have seen implemented on the education sector when they deploy command connectors.
Awesome. Ken asks, does the AI engine have its own large data set to start, or does it have to learn by building history?
Yeah, Ken, that's a very good question. I'll start by saying that when we launched the AI-powered search back in May, we wrote a pretty extensive white paper on this, which again you could find verkada.com/docs, and you could read all about the underlying data for the model. To answer your question, though, it's actually a little bit of both. So we built the AI search from a publicly available data set, which was trained on billions of images and their corresponding captions. It's an open source model from OpenAI called Clip. And that's how we're able to essentially match the user search or the user query to the corresponding set of images. So you're basically typing the caption, if you will, and the caption is being paired to the likeliest set of images. And again, that's from publicly available, that was trained on a massive set of publicly available images and their corresponding captions. However, or not however, in addition, if our customers find that a result might be inaccurate or not directly what they're looking for, we have a few feedback mechanisms in place. So we actually we offer two sort of feedback mechanisms. One is on the result itself. You could click in and say, this is not the result I'm looking for. This is actually giving me something else. And then we have another way of providing feedback more broadly on the experience as a whole. We will only use feedback that's explicitly provided to us to improve our model. We're not going to touch any sort of customer data to improve our model and experience. So that's I hope that answered your question. It's but if you're really interested in diving deep, I encourage you to check out the AI search white paper again on verkada.com/docs.
Awesome. Last one. This is not this is more of a comment. We have been a Verkada customer since 2021, and the system is incredible and only gets stronger and better. Our investigations in schools have gone from hours to minutes. Finally, the customer service support from Verkada is truly outstanding. Eastern DataComm has been seamless to work with and very versed in all facets of security. I honestly did not pay anybody to say that, but I appreciate the comment that came in there. Thank you very much, whoever that is. But that is terrific. But so thank you very much. I think that concludes, unless anybody's any other comments that are just as good as that. I don't know, but thank you very much. All right, anyways, but I guess we'll wrap up now because we're just about out of time. So just as a thank you, Eastern Datacom is happy to provide on-location safety and communications technology learning session. So if you want to learn more about what you saw today, or if there's something you think would be great for your organization and you want to bring some other stakeholders involved, we'll be more than happy to come out. We could do it live over video like this, a Zoom call, but we can also come out in person and do it, which might be a lot more effective. So we're willing to provide that. And if you want to learn more about Verkada's AI-based analytics and command connector, and even request a free trial, there are the options right there where you can click on those, whatever you call those things. I forget.
Make a QR code and
QR
yeah.
code, thank you. I just lost that in my head. I should be the one to remember. By the way, I want to thank Adam and Sergio. They, although I've been up for about 5 or 6 hours at this point because I'm East Coast, they've been up for about maybe the past hour since they are West Coast. So I appreciate you guys coming on. Great presentation. I also want to thank everybody who came today. Who were on this call and for the great questions. You guys get a gold star for that. Those are actually really, really good, insightful questions. It makes it a lot more engaging. So that's it. I want to thank everybody for being a part of it. And like I said, feel free to reach out to us if you have any other questions or anything comes up, or if you'd like us to come out and do another presentation or a deep dive or a learning session. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of your days and be safe, everybody.
Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.